Peace, y'all. Got an interesting topic for y'all today. I came up with this thing. 5 brands that I used to have so much of that shit. First of all, appreciation, gratitude. 5 brands that I used to have so much of that shit that I don't have no much more of that shit no more because I didn't got rid of everything and there may be a couple of things lingering around in my room. But I'm gonna discuss 5 brands. I used to have so much of this shit that it's surprising that I don't even buy this shit no more. It'll never be Nike and Jordan. They always gonna be top of the line, even though I buy other brands now. But 5 brands that I used to have so much of this shit, it was disgusting, and 5 brands that I've never bought for myself that I'd be willing to try out. All right, check this out. I'm about to fuck y'all head up. The 5 brands that I used to have so much, and I'm gonna start with the low hanging fruit. Remember Echo? Echo was I think it was a New York brand. They probably still get made today. And they had like the rhino as like the mascot or the logo. I used to have so much Echo shit, dog. It was disgusting. I'm talking about coats, snow pants, t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies. I used to have all that shit. And it's disgusting now. I don't even know if the brand is still around. I used to have so much of that shit. Before reselling and vintage and selling your old shit became popular, like I can go on Macari and like all those little like eBay, all that shit. I don't even think I got any LRG shit because I had so much of that shit. I was just giving that shit away, like you know how you would thrift. Thrift is eating motherfuckers that thrift and get shit and they resell it. I know somebody that came up because I didn't got rid of a lot of motherfucking Echo. Next on the list, LRG. When I tell you, bro, some of my favorite LIG pieces, I'm still looking for them bitches today. I had the LRG skeleton hoodie. They just released the whole bodysuit, the whole like jumpsuit. And when I bought my shit, this was probably like 2008. One of my favorite LIG pieces that I cannot find today is the fucking Freddy Krueger sweater. Oh my God. And I recently just sold that bitch like maybe 5 years ago. Somebody finally bought that shit. I still have maybe a couple LIG pants, but let me tell you, mind you, all of this is within the last 5 years. I just recently sold. Somebody saw my shit and bought up like 6 pairs of LIG jeans from me. When I tell you I didn't got rid of so much shit, man. LIG was my shit, dude. T-shirts, hoodies. LIG was that shit. Um, for this one, I got to give a shout out to Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock know who she is. This is one of my exes, one of my favorite exes. Although we don't talk, and I still be riding through her people stomping grounds. Tommy Hilfiger. So let me tell you, man. You know, people always talk about Ralph Lauren. And what is something? I never was into Ralph Lauren. I never even owned a piece of Ralph Lauren hoodie, nothing. But man, when I met my ex-girlfriend, this was back in college. I didn't even really, you saw the ads. Everybody saw the ads. But when I tell you, dog, I never had a piece of Tommy Hilfiger until I met my ex-girlfriend because literally, dog, that's all she wore was Tommy Hilfiger. And then my dumb ass, okay, let me get, you know what I'm saying? Like, dog. And then remember, if you was doing your thing, you get some pieces or, on the 5 finger discount. dog. And then she took me to like the discount outlets and all that shit, man. I done had all the fucking hoodies, not all the hoodies. I'm talking about the polos, every color, boxers, robes. I don't even think I had jeans, but it was mostly the polos, maybe a sweater or two. But yeah, the boxer shorts, I love the boxers. And then you had, and this was like during the Wu-Tang era. So like, man, I had all that shit, dog. And I'm talking about like I had tons of just Tommy polos, because that's what I used to wear a lot was polos. Every color, red, all the different patterns. Now I don't even have none of that shit. I'm trying to think, do I have anything Tommy? Nothing. Nothing I have. Oh, take that back. I got one item that's a Tommy Hill figure. And I'm not even finna go look for it right now. But it was my favorite hoodie. As a matter of fact, if you go watch an old episode of Martin, you're gonna see Cole. Is it Cole? Whatever the little short one is. He got on the hoodie. It's like a green Tommy Hill figure sweater with like the stripes. I fucking love this hoodie, dog. I fucking love this hoodie. It wasn't even a hoodie. My bad. It was a quarter zip fleece, and it had green, and it had all the stripes on it. Love that hoodie. Timberland. Dog, when I tell you, I had so much Timberland, and we talking about mid-90s to like early 2000s. Every like beef and broccolis, the OG loafers, Timberland coats, Timberland watches, Timberland hats, Timberland shirts, Timberland button up. I had all that shit, dog, and it was just like the shit either got lost, gave away, thrifted, sold, to the point the only thing I got left now is a little Timberland coat that is like I'm trying to get rid of it, and I got a Timberland leather. And I'm talking about this leather is in super duper tip top shape condition. Immaculate. It's still in the what you call it. Nobody would buy that bitch. And I'm like, fuck it. I'll keep it. And it's got the fleece inside of it. And I still got the jacket. Ain't nobody buying it. Cool. I'll take it to the cleaners, have them iron that bitch out, and I'll wear that shit on some vintage shit. But man, when I tell you, I had so many. And I'm talking about, you know how now they do the videos, dude do the videos, and he be like, nah, you can't wear them type of Timberlands. Nigga, I had them type of Timberlands that dude was telling you couldn't wear. Cause the only thing they wear is the classic joints. Like we had all that shit, dog. I had loafers. It was ridiculous, man. Last but not least, one of my favorite brands of all time, Jabot. Ridiculous, dog. And just like the other ones, I recently, within the last couple of years, I kept some pieces. I had maybe like 2 pieces left of Brand X jeans, thinking that I'm going to wear them bitches. Man, I sold that shit, and I don't have no more Jabot left. Out of this list, I definitely ain't got no Tommy. I still got some Timberland. I still got 2 Timberland coats walking around. I have no shoes. No Timberland shoes, nothing. I had so much of that shit. And the thing was, people ain't gonna keep it real with you, dog. Timberland is uncomfortable as fuck. Timberland, like, you wearing these boots, they heavy as fuck. And niggas ain't gonna say nothing, but you just walking around with these heavy ass boots. And then to the point, man, I got so tired of that shit. I said, bro, let me get rid of this shit. And boots is gone, man. So I ain't got no more Tommy, no Timberland, no Echo, and I still got some. No, wait. I still got some Timberland locking around in some clothes. I still got a couple LIG pieces, but I ain't got no more Tommy, no more Echo, and no more Jabot. There's only one brand on here that I would buy, and I'm gonna get into that in this next segment. All right. 5 brands that I've never bought for myself, but now I'm looking like, man, I might, you know what I'm saying? Okay. First one on the list, Supreme. Bro, first of all, I don't even like Supreme. But I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna get into it. Now, I'm big into, as you know, the shoes. So anything that's a shoe is, is liable to get bought at some point. But Supreme, when people buy all this Supreme coats and jackets, and I'm like, ugh, I don't even fuck with it. But Supreme turned my eye. Like, I just seen a post where they about to do a Supreme Barkley low pack. And I'm like, damn, I might fuck around and try to get one of them, especially the black pair. Supreme and Jordan did a Biggie t-shirt. Now, you know, Supreme would always drop these Supreme t-shirts, and some of the classic ones is like, you got Ghostface and Raekwon, you got Nas. They did a Biggie t-shirt. Now, the Biggie t-shirt don't resell for that much. I was downtown at dude's store. He had a couple smalls. He didn't have no sizes, but that Biggie t-shirt, me being a Biggie head, I might like, man, that look dope. So yeah, like Supreme when it comes to shoes and night, like I just never bought Supreme. I don't know what it is. I just can't get into it. But that Biggie t-shirt, I'm definitely gonna look into that. And these they did some, like, Supreme did a Air Max 95. You had like the blue, you had the red and the black, and it was super duper Supreme leather. Them is something that you would definitely want to cop. But I ain't with all the other like Supreme t-shirts with the box logo, and people go crazy for like all the different collaborations. I mean, if it ain't Jordan or if it ain't something that's like a shoe, nah, I ain't doing it. Doc Martin. Now, Doc Martin, never even would consider it. I've bought Doc Martin as a gift for people. But recently, Doc Martin did a collaboration with Supreme, and they released these low top dress shoes, but they got skulls on it. And one comes in, they got a skull on it on the toe box. And it comes in black, it comes in red, and it comes in blue. I would definitely get that black pair without question. That shit is dope. Uggs. Now, I used to wear a pair of Uggs that I didn't pay for. Uggs is warm as fuck. If you ever just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like the little boy that he got the little Uggs, and he like, man, what the fuck is these? And he threw them to the side. Now, I done had some Ugg collaboration gloves that I had got a couple years ago, Ugg and Palace, and I had 2 pairs of them mittens, and I got rid of them. But Ugg just did a Ugg just did a Ugg just did a collaboration with Palace on some clogs, and they got it's actually Ugg and Palace, and they got all the Palace like logos on there, and then Ugg also did something with Looney Tunes. Ugg also did something with Bait. Now here's the thing. This thing they did with Bait, it was Uggs and Bait. They did a coat, they did some gloves, they did some clogs, and you cannot find these clogs anywhere. Them clogs are so cold. They even did the Bathing Ape Ugg boot that's like all brown with the tan bottom. And I think it was released in like Sweden or Japan. You cannot get that clog anywhere. Shit is so dope, bro. It's unbelievable. Oh, well, no, I'm gonna talk about that now. I forgot to mention the Supreme. Supreme also did a collaboration with Jabot. Now, check this shit out. If you go to the Jabot website right now, you cannot get any brand X, nothing that looks like a Jabot from back in the day. But Supreme and Jabot just did a collaboration, and they released, I think it was like 5 pairs of jeans that had the Brandex, classic Brandex stitching, and they did some shorts. When I tell you, them bitches would be copped, especially them shorts, dude. Louis Vuitton. I'm really not into high fashion. I got a high fashion watch. I need to take it to get it serviced. I like to keep up with that bitch. I'm not into like Chanel. Now, remind you, I did say if it's a shoe, that's different, but I'm not into like having the sweaters and the pants. I would look into a belt possibly, but I'm really strictly just shoes and a few accessories. But when it comes to getting all the clothes and shit, like, mm-mm. But knocking around in my people garage, they used to have one of them bags from the 80s with the classic monogram on it. And I used to, fuck around with it. But I always said, man, when I get to a point and I can afford one, I would buy a duffel. I've always wanted a nice Louis Vuitton duffel. Me being frugal, or you can call it cheap, whatever you want to call it, I wouldn't dare buy one right now. But like I said, when I'm straight and everything good and you got a couple extra dollars, why not? Louis Vuitton duffel. Last but not least, Bape. Never really got into Bape, just like Supreme. Wasn't one of them people. But like I said, Bape did something with UGG that was cold as hell. But Bape also released some snow clogs. Man, they so raw. You got a Bape snow clog. It looked like a boot, but the back is cut out. And they got it in a gray colorway, and they also got it in a red colorway. Forget about it. Bape also did some collaborations with Adidas. Like they just released that Adidas shoe, and they had some, Bape has always done some good collaborations. Plus, you got the classic Kanye by Bape. If they ever did a retro, I would look into that. But yeah, 5 brands that I used to buy so much shit I don't even have no more. Tommy, Timberland, Echo, LRG, and Jabot. 5 brands that I never really owned for myself that I would look into. Supreme, the Doc Martin by Supreme. That's the only Doc Martin I would get, is by the one that Supreme did. The UGG, like I said, UGG did stuff with Palace. UGG did stuff with Bape. The Louis Vuitton, and then like I said, Bape got their own clogs. That's dope. But I'm not buying like no shirts or nothing like that. So, all right, y'all. Till next time. Peace.